Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon, not here with Geeky in this video. We're going to do a follow-up to yesterday's video talking about why Dungeons & Dragons, Hasbro WotC Dungeons & Dragons is falling off a freaking cliff, and this could be part of the reason why. They just unveiled their new starter set, and if you look at the artwork for the starter set, yeah, it looks like the DEI mandates were in full swing when they developed this set. And look, you know, your visuals, right? Your visuals for any kind of a product, whether it's a comic book or a video game or a tabletop game, they're kind of like, I hate to use the term, but they're kind of like a dog whistle, right? Like the visuals, the art style, you're sending a message to consumers that this is what kind of product this is, and it's for a certain kind of audience, right? And they joke about, like, you know, the beam mouth style with progressive Tumblr cartoons and Cartoon Network cartoons and stuff, and that's kind of sending the signal. It's one of those kinds of cartoons, right? With comic books, it's kind of the same thing. Like, oh, the art style, there's lots of purples and pinks and whatever. Oh, it's one of those kinds of comic. I got it. But then the flip side of that is like, okay, everybody's like super buff, super attractive, hard lighting, freaking over-rendered muscles. One of those kinds of comics for the alt-right. You know what I'm saying? So there are visual cues that are sent out. And D&D has had a lot of looks over the years. And you can still see like old D&D in some of these images, but the characters themselves, they're clearly looking for a certain audience. And we're very well aware. You know, those of us that have been watching this kind of unfold in real time are very aware that Hasbro WotC especially wants a more progressive audience, and there are visual cues in this book that or in this set that's exactly what they're looking for. So we're gonna take a look at this, and I'm gonna just kind of just in general take a look at the audience I think that WotC is trying to go for with Dungeons and Dragons now, and they're trying to turn it. Somebody said in the comments, they're trying to turn D&D into Monopoly. They want D&D to be embraced by everybody. And they seem to really be going after progressives and women these days. And look, women have always been part of the hobby. Some women notably have contributed greatly to the hobby, like Margaret Wise. But D&D never looked femme, right? It never looked femme. And now it just has a sheen to it, like a feminine sheen. And this goes along with the purses and the dresses that they're selling, and the inclusivity language. They're going back and going over everything to make sure that we don't offend anyone with sensitivity readers. And we're just going to talk about it because this look, everything is interrelated here, right? 5e is definitely for a certain audience, and they want 2024 to be for a certain audience. But I think that audience has moved on. And I'm going to point out some Reddit comments here that basically, it's kind of sad. Some people on Reddit are saying the only reason they're playing D&D now is because they can't afford to play Warhammer. I'm not even kidding. Not even kidding. So let's, they're stuck in D&D. Stuck here. You're stuck here with them. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. Check out clownfishtv.substack.com if you're looking for notifications. Sometimes you do not get notifications from YouTube. And yeah, I think we're talking 2 Dungeons and Dragons videos within 24 hours. But Kevin Lamb posted this. He said the new WotC starter set image includes a picture of a they-them barbarian that is heroically getting ready to meet their new roommate as they bring their belongings to the dorm. That's what it looks like, right? I mean, this is right up there with the gay barista baker dwarves. Like, this is not imagery that you would have seen in D&D. I'm not talking about adventurers, with a bunch of stuff. I'm talking like adventurers are baking, adventurers are cooking. They're going to prom together. They're dancing. They're shipping each other. They're having goofy adventures. I think back to those early players' handbooks, and they were going on adventures. They were, everything looked like a scene out of Tolkien or out of a, some kind of a fantasy novel, and it was trying to get you pumped for adventure. And all this says to me is, okay, guys, we're gonna go shopping. It's crazy. This is just it's crazy. So here's what this is. This is the new starter set. So the way that D&D seems to work now, and again, I don't play 5e, but it does seem like they have the hardcover player's handbook, Dungeon Master's Guide, Monster Manual, like they've always had. But then they have a starter set, a box set, which kind of harkens back, but not quite, to the BECME, Basic Expert Companion, Master and Mortal sets. These are the D&D sets I grew up playing, and then I moved on to second edition Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, right? But now we just have Dungeons and Dragons. So this sort of replaces, I think, just the standard D&D, and then AD&D, I guess, would be the 2024 books, I guess, right? And I got that. The kids and I played it, and I think we played it twice, and then I just went back to 3.5, and I said, no, if you guys are going to learn how to play, we're going to bust out some OSR. We're going to, play old school tabletop. But this is what they include. So it's coming from DungeonsandDragonsFan.com. What will be included in Heroes of the Borderlands? Which is, okay, so this is based on a Gary Gygax module, the Keep on the Borderlands, an introductory module for characters level 1 through 3. Now, again, look at the art style. It doesn't say femme, does it? It doesn't say femme at all. It's like, oh, look, adventure. What's going to be included? The new Heroes of the Borderland D&D starter is a modern update of the classic D&D adventure module B2, Keep on the Borderlands. Although Wizards of the Coast has noted that while the materials take place in the same area, some time has passed since the original adventure. Probably to make sure nothing offensive happens, right? We can't have anything offensive because anything Gary Gygax touches, according to some people, is tainted with racism and misogyny. It's a much more progressive area now than it looks a lot like Portland now, right? The set will be split into 3 self-contained booklets: the Caves of Chaos, the Keep on the Borderlands, and the Wilderness. Each booklet will contain a short tutorial to help new and returning players learn as they go. Additionally, Wizards of the Coast will release a detailed how to play video with further instructions. So this is part of the reason why the D&D channels are dying too, is like you don't have to really learn how to play. They show you how to play right out of the box, no pun intended. But that's what the basic set did, right? The basic set was great because it was like, here's what a role-playing game is, and here's how you make a character, and here's how you do combat. The physical version of the starter set will also contain several new innovations designed to make playing D&D easier for beginners. This includes new tiles that players can mix and match to create new characters. Tiles. Is that like those, what they call it, fashion plates? Do you remember those? When you were kids, the girls had them. You could like mix and match the different fashions, and you put a piece of paper over it, and then you like rub a pencil over it, and you'd get your fashion model. Do you remember that? The neighbor kid had one of those. So that tracks for where D&D is at right now. Fashion plates or whatever. Wizards of the Coast describes this as being incredibly fast and a solid introduction on how to make a D&D character. It will also have support for multiple DMs running the campaign, which is a first for a starter set. In a post shared on the official D&D Beyond blog, Wizards of the Coast also revealed that Heroes of the Borderlands will include a quick start guide that offers a high-level overview of the new rules, along with a modular introductory adventure. So what is Keep on the Borderlands? It's a classic D&D adventure module published in 79 by TSR. I've seen this. I've heard of it. I never played it. It was 79. That was kind of before. I didn't get into D&D until the mid 80s, and I was pretty young. I was, 8 or 9, and I got the basic set, and we fumbled through it for a couple of years until we figured out how to actually play. Over the years, the module has become incredibly popular and large due to its straightforward, beginner-friendly design and flexibility. Notably, the Keep on the Borderlands has also seen multiple reprints and adaptations since it was first published, including an updated 5e version from Goodman Games known as Into the Borderlands and Raging Swans Shadowed Keep on the Borderlands. The original 79 adventure is set in a remote wilderness area known as, shockingly, shockingly, the Borderlands. Players begin their journey at the Keep, a small fortress that serves as a bastion of safety and a base of operations. Primary objective is to investigate and neutralize various threats emanating from the Caves of Chaos. Yes. Adventures back then were pretty straightforward, right? But so this is the previous starter set, which is actually very confusing. If you're a new player, you're like, where the hell do I start? Oh, I get the starter set. Oh, then I have to go out and buy the hardcover books after this, right? So September 16th, 2025. Here are some other things. We got clothes mending because fashion is incredibly important. But yeah, I think look, this is what do they call it? Like dress for the job you want. Is that what they say? Dress for the job you want. That is where D&D is at right now. That's where comic books are at in large part. There are certain visual cues that media sends out. That's like, it's this kind of thing, right? And it could be anything from the art style to the kinds of characters, composition, whatever. They're looking for new players. This is what I think. I think they're looking for, I don't think WotC has any interest in grognards because they know they've moved on. Like the grognards have moved on, or they haven't moved on. They're still playing their old books. They're using their old books. They're looking for new players. They're looking for casuals. And this is how they're going to do it. They're fishing. What is this? Is that Mindy Kaling? I gotta look at this. Let me see here. Can I zoom in? The dwarf looks like Mindy Kaling. Anyway, so they're looking for casual players. They're looking for casuals. That's what this set is for. I think they're trying to come across like it's Monopoly, but it really isn't. But maybe it is too, because they're going to push the mobile apps and they're going to push all that stuff. That's what they want. This I thought was very interesting. How come there are so more women in this hobby compared to similar ones? Now D&D I'm going to be honest, D&D has always been welcoming. D&D has always been inclusive. I know a lot of people make jokes about being, toxic masculinity. I'm like, the people that played D&D, most of them were getting shoved into lockers at school. They're getting beat up at school, even though it was predominantly mostly white guys, right? And it was created by white guys in the Midwest. But so they weren't exactly the jocks at school, like Mr. Dude Bro rolls up in his Camaro. I had a Camaro when I was in high school, but you know what I'm saying? Like shows up and is like, hey man, we're going to play some D&D and get those bitches out of here. Cause this is a man's game. That is not it. It's like, dude, if you got caught playing D&D in middle school or high school, you were mercilessly taunted. We had one kid in our group that he didn't want anybody to know that he was playing with. It was like, because you don't want to be a loser when you go back to school, right? But yeah, it's always been a pretty welcoming hobby. It's just that, again, it's one of those things where I think, even though there have always been women in the hobby, I think it has, for the most part, has limited appeal to most women, not all women, but a lot of women, most women. And it's not because of the toxic masculinity or whatever. It's, we're just talking about the nature of the game itself. And I think a lot of women probably just find it boring. I'm gonna be honest, they find it boring. So how do they attract women to the hobby? Well, they add elements of fashion and socializing and dating. That's how you turn it into mystery date, right? Yeah, but it's interesting. They said, how come there are a lot more women? There aren't a lot of women in Warhammer. And this is a very interesting conversation, because this person says D&D, out of the ones you've listed, they're talking about Warhammer, is most inclusive and welcoming. As a nerdy woman, there's the least barrier to entry to D&D as opposed to others. A lot of this is self-fulfilling. More women means less sexism and misogyny, which means more women, and so on. Additionally, the whole hobby is about pretending to be someone else. So it doesn't matter who you are as much. I wouldn't say it's 50-50. It's not 50-50, but I agree it's much more in other hobbies. This person says that's true. I can't afford Warhammer, so I'm pretty much stuck with video games and books. I'm stuck in D&D. So here's the thing. They've been trying to pivot. They've been trying to pivot D&D to a more female or femme audience for a while. And I think this started, again, with the Tumblr. I mean, just casual observation. They went fishing. They attracted the modern audience. Now, sometimes the modern audience eats them alive, right? But what I'm saying is they're deliberately going out and trying to make D&D girly, I think, to attract women. And people that are, maybe not into more masculine forms of entertainment, right? Like, oh, D&D can be for you too. We can just, have tea and crumpets and sit down with our neighbors, the orcs, who have been misunderstood. Everybody's being very racist to our neighbors, the orcs. I mean, there are all kinds of wild, like, things that were just completely inconceivable back when we played, because it was, based on war games, combat. And now it's just like, it literally is role playing. It's literally just, I'm going to live my virtual life, in this virtual world. And we're going to have, again, tea and shopping and dating and dancing and baking. And it's like, what the hell? At what part do you bash the fucking monster's head in? Oh, you don't, because they're people too. Again, I'm just old. Maybe I'm just old. But yeah, they've been, pushing purses. We got D&D purses, and we got, D&D shoes and clogs and dress. Now, some of the stuff's actually pretty cool. But you know what I'm saying? Like, they're obviously going for a certain audience, right? And this is kind of the culmination of that. And I think 2024 is going to be polarizing at the end of the day, because I know a lot of people that have played it said they don't like as much as 5e. They're just going back to 5e. And again, the grognards, they don't care. I mean, that's just it. It's kind of like with Marvel and with Star Wars. Like, they don't care about the old heads, because they figure you're either locked in already, aging out or dying, or you're moving on. You know what I'm saying? So what they're trying to do is they're trying to bring in a new audience, and it is what it is, right? But they got sensitivity readers now. They got it's ridiculous. But I just thought this was very funny, and I can't believe I got as much mileage out of this as I did. I mean, I have a lot of thoughts about this, but it's not the same game. D&D, and even though they're wearing the skin suit of Gary Gygax, it is not the game he helped create, right? And this is not his adventure that he helped create. They just own the IP. And that's actually kind of more insulting, I think, is like, well, it's just, we're going to drag out Gary Gygax now, or we're going to overwrite Gary Gygax to be more, his stuff to be more diverse and inclusive, because we have a problem with Gary Gygax. They've made it very known. Like, they don't like Gygax's politics. They don't like his opinions. They made it known in the 50th anniversary retrospective that, D&D was just created by a bunch of problematic white guys from the Midwest, which is the most disrespectful fucking thing you could say, because you wouldn't have your job, dude, if they didn't create the game. But yeah, it's not the same game. I think D&D, for me personally, as soon as TSR got sold, that was it. And some people think it was before that. They think that TSR went off the rails before that. I know they got really greedy. I mean, I'm sitting here thinking, like, I have a lot of really fond memories of second edition, but I'm like, how many damn class books did they have? Seriously. I'm like, they have what, like 20? Like, every damn class had its own, like, fake leather bound source book. And it was ridiculous. And I was like, they're just trying, and our players bought them. They did. I mean, that's what they were for, right? I mean, it was to make some extra revenue, but it was just like, it's like, oh, we got the Ranger book, and then we have the Psionics handbook, and we got the, now they would have like, Dwarf Barista handbook and leather bound or something. Give them time. I'll give them time. But yeah, it just feels like they're just looking for a new audience. They don't care about the old heads anymore. And they haven't for a very long time. Very, very obvious. A lot of people thinking this might be the actual last physical books that they make. Here's some of the responses. I reposted that. Jared Shapiro says, the art's terrible. If it's not AI generated, then somebody consciously made it look AI generated. I think it is, in part, because we know they've been using AI art. And I'm going to be honest, you can't crank out that much digitally painted art in the amount of time. You know what I'm saying? So they might be using their artists to train it or something, but they were looking for somebody to be a bot wrangler over at WotC. GPA says, I'll warm up the Cookie Forge and Gnomish Coffee Brewer. There we go. Never mind that shit. Here's a fat middle-aged white man in diamond armor. Oh my God. These are coming to Ollie soon. These Minecraft figures, they look awful. They should band together to defeat their greatest challenge yet, an honest 8-hour work shift. Wow, just ruined entirely. I'm not surprised. Makes me sad. They have no imagination. Gave me the most painful sense of deja vu. +8 to misgendering. D&D, dorm rooms, and DEI. Do you think Hasbro will sell D&D? I don't know. They talked about it. No, it's real. I haven't seen any sources for this. I showed you the source. It's real. It's real. Tasman, sorry. Yep, there it is. Shows it. That's, dude, he's literally showing you where it came from. He's literally showing you where it came from. I mean, I'm sorry, but it's real, man. It's real. I know it's hard to believe, but it's totally real. This person, this is dead. This is it. This is exactly what I just got done saying. It's playing dolls, but with D&D characters. I remember my sister and her friends acting this crap out with her friends using Barbies. It was crap because it was typical. I was a typical younger brother. You don't need a D&D system to play dolls. And it was also about dressing them up. Oh my God, that is literally it. That is what I just got done saying. 100%. That's what this is. They want a female audience that wants to play dolls. Dress up. It's dress up. That's what it is. So good luck with that. I think everybody else has moved on. I'm going to wrap it up. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.